All right, what's going on, guys? This is Out of the Park podcast. We have a special guest today, Hunter Edwards. I'm going to let him introduce himself a little bit.
What's up, everybody? I'm super excited to be here. Out of the park is going to be great because I suck at sports. So this will be great.
So, obviously, you're a comedian right now. How did you kind of get into that work?
Um, I mean, it's kind of the same dumb story everybody has. Everybody laughed at me a lot in elementary school, or laughed at me making jokes, class clown stuff. And then about 9, 10 years ago, I signed up to be in a competition for stand up, which I'd never done stand up before. So that was really stupid. So I paid $25 and got out the first round, but I was like, it's actually kind of fun. I want to keep doing this. So ever since then, kept doing it.
Wow. Is there ever like a time during one of your shows that you like get like a serious reaction from a fan? Like you say something, they like get mad or anything? Has there ever been that kind of?
Not really. I mean, the only really time I've done that is I like to do a lot of crowd work. And this guy in the front row, I was asking him kind of what he does for work, and he said he's a domestic engineer. And I made a joke and was like, at least you're not, a domestic abuser, which he thought was funny. But the guy next to him didn't think it was very funny. And then I made a joke about how muscular he was, and I was like, there's sometimes that the guy that's so big that's doing domestic abuse, you got to just be like, look, lady, you got to shut the fuck up sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously a joke, but people didn't like that.
Yeah, I know. I've seen like a ton of different people doing like any sort of comedy, and like some of the things they say, I'm like, wow, like I don't think I could get up there and personally say something like that just based on the reaction sometimes they get. But does it still get like nerve wracking when you go up on stage and kind of do your thing?
No, not really. I don't really get. I used to get that way, and then I started drinking, and that kind of helps.
Hmm.
But no, I don't really get that way anymore.
Is drinking part of your pregame routine or?
For what I'm legally allowed to tell you, yes, that is part of the pregame and the during game and post game prep.
Perfect. Uh, so you travel, I would imagine, to different places and do comedy, or do you stay in one spot?
No, I've traveled pretty much along the East Coast. I've done New York, Florida, Virginia, a lot of North Carolina. That's where I'm from. A lot of our local clubs here, but in like theaters and stuff like that around here.
You gotta
Trying to
come
get
to
out West Coast way, but
you gotta come to Pennsylvania, and we'll have to stop by.
yeah, I mean, I'm working on it. I'm trying to get some stuff together to kind of get out on the road more. So I got some buddies that live in New Jersey and Philly and Austin and stuff. So I'm trying to get out those different ways to. So hopefully I can.
Yeah, no, that's great that you're able to travel and do all of this. So, what would be kind of your like dream place to have like do one of your shows?
Um, my dream place to do one of these shows. I don't really know. And I know everybody has like their own like they're like this is my spot that I know that I made it. Um, I mean, I've done everything from like sold out theaters in Fayetteville to an old folks home in Durham.
Hmm.
It I don't really know. I mean, I've also performed at my local club, which was cool to me because it was the club I went to growing up. Um, I mean, if I had to actually choose, I would say, I mean, I guess everybody's is Madison Square Garden, but
Hmm.
yeah, I don't do a lot of movement on stage, so standing in the middle and having to look at people would not be great.
Yeah. So you kind of want to get into like that. Like if you were to get into Madison Square Garden, you're kind of comfortable doing with so many different people there.
Yeah, that wouldn't be an issue. I think the biggest show I did was I opened for Dave Attell, and that was like 300 people. I think I might be miscalculating a lot, but and that just felt it's. I feel like the more people, the less nervous I am. The less people, the more nervous I am.
Yeah. No, I mean it just seems like from my perspective at least it would be semi hard with because you have all the lights on you, everything like that. So I feel like it's kind of for me it would be a little bit nerve wracking, obviously the first couple times, but for you to be able to kind of calm down since you because how long have you been doing this?
Coming up on 10 years.
Wow, 10 years. That's
Mm.
crazy. Do you like ever like get up on stage and like kind of run out of jokes or no?
I mean, I've done shows for producers that were like, we have to make this show 2 hours, and the openers before me only went for like 30 minutes or 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to go longer than an hour, which is a lot to ask. I
Mm-hmm.
can do up to an hour. I mean, that's happened before when I was kind of first starting out. I definitely thought I had enough time. I was going over my notes and I'm like, dude, I got exactly 20 minutes. Like, I'm perfectly fine. Then I come with my last joke. I look at my watch. I'm only like 12 minutes in. Um, that's when the love of crowd work kicked in because I was like, oh, I can just ask people what they do for a living and go from there.
Yeah, no, that's cool that you're able to kind of just come up with it on the fly. So I guess that leads into my
Hmm.
next question. How do you come up with it like in the moment?
I mean, if you're talking about like crowd work and stuff, it's kind of just like it kind of just like a tick. I mean, it's good and bad because when I'm coming up with in the moment, I'm not really thinking about what I'm about to say. So I do say some dumb things like that domestic abuse joke, because I'm just trying to go off the fly. Like I just go like the last word I heard. I'm like, all right, what can I say to this or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, other than that, like it's I have no idea. It's just like a tick, I guess.
Hmm.
There's no really like special thing, I guess. Does that make sense? It's like a
Yeah.
weird X-Men power.
No, it definitely does make sense because I mean it's kind of something I've always wondered because like I feel like yeah you can have stuff because I would imagine that you prepare stuff before you go on stage.
Yeah. I mean, I can do like 45 minutes to an hour with prepared material. It is just more fun to get the crowd involved and kind of um, go from there. But yeah, I mean, writing jokes is a lot easier than coming up on the fly. I will say that, especially to anybody that's listening to this that wants to get into comedy. Everyone kind of just resorts to crowd work, which is fine. Um, but then they get to that point where it's like there's only so much you can do. And a lot of
Hmm.
crowd work too is almost like responding to hecklers, responding to people like talking during your set or something like that. It's not just like if you're just doing really well, there's no point in being like, so anyway, what do you guys do for work? Like, so too many people can rely on that, and they
Yeah.
shouldn't.
So
Me probably being one of those two.
what is like your biggest advice that you can give to someone that wants to get into comedy and everything?
Um, that wants to get into comedy, I would say just write down everything you can think of. Start a podcast because if you can't make it out to open mics, having a podcast is really nice because you can say what you want and work on your own jokes. I've come up with a lot of bits just from my own podcast I've done with a buddy of mine. I've gone from there. Just write everything down. Even if it doesn't seem funny at the time, it could be funny on stage. And I will also say this because a lot of people I know do this. A lot of newer people, they will just continuously write stuff over and over and over again and perform new stuff at every open mic. And it's like that's great, but you need to buckle down on what you have. Like keep working on stuff. And I forgot who said it. I think it might have been David Tell or somebody like an interview, but pretty much just never get tired of telling your own stuff. Like even though you've told these jokes 100 times, the people in the crowd, this might be their first time hearing it. So you needed to tell it the exact same way you told it the first time you told it, or the best time you told it. Don't go up there and just use your same material and act like you don't want to be there.
Yeah, no, it's I would imagine that you gotta have like a high amount of confidence as well to go up there.
Yeah, for sure. You gotta. I mean, yeah, you gotta be confident in your own stuff. You gotta get
Hmm.
high on your own supply because if you go up there and you're like, "This isn't funny," then no one's gonna think it's funny.
Hmm. So I know I'd skimmed over your podcast and listened to a little bit of it. Did you start your podcast before or after you started going on like tour and everything?
I started my podcast a few years back, so I was already doing stand up pretty regularly, and then
Hmm.
started the podcast. So yeah,
So do you enjoy doing the podcast work or do you enjoy more of being up on stage in front of everyone?
definitely the on stage, but that's mostly because I'm lazy, and it's much easier to get on stage and talk than it is to. I mean, record a podcast, edit the podcast, put the podcast out, advertise the podcast, and then it's also what sucks about like podcasting is I say a bunch of stupid stuff on stage, and it is taken as a joke because it is a joke. But sometimes when people listening to podcasts, something might get taken out of context because they're just listening. When like I might be off the microphone dying laughing at something my friend said, but they were like, "Well, Hunter didn't laugh at that," or his friend didn't laugh at that, or his guest might have thought that was offensive.
Hmm.
It's like no, it's all everything I'm saying. And I preface this too, like whenever I make a post about like anything socially, politics, whatever, I always like preface it. And I'm like, what I'm about to say is probably stupid because I'm dumb, and what I'm about to joke about is dumb. So take it as what that as what you want. I'm stupid.
Yeah, no, it does seem like nowadays like you can't say as much without getting so much like backlash and everything. Like you like obviously everyone has their own opinion, everything like that, but it seems like especially nowadays if you post something on social media like there's almost like that little bit of worry in the back that like okay, you're posting this and you might get a lot of hate or it could go either way honestly. It could go you get a lot of hate or you get a lot of like good stuff like everyone's like cheering you on and everything. So do you kind of get a like, did you start off by having like a lot of haters, or was it a lot of people that you were around that were like, yeah, this is really good, like keep doing it?
It's supposed to be a lot of people around that tells me to keep doing it. I don't. I've had a couple people that yeah, I don't think I've had anybody that's been like, dude, you suck. Like, this is terrible.
Hmm.
But I mean, I've had like the regular people like, oh, I didn't find that as funny or like stuff like that. I don't think I've really had any haters per se. I mean, I'm sure I've made a comment on something that someone got mad at, but I'm always like, it's whatever.
Hmm.
So yeah, mostly people just being like, because I have like a pretty good circle around me, like girlfriend, friends, family. They're all very supportive in what I
Hmm.
do. Even my one of my stepbrothers, or not my one of stepbrothers, my stepbrother, he's very like on the different side of the spectrum when it comes to like beliefs and politics or whatever else. But even he will like stand beside me for a joke I make. He might be like, "You probably shouldn't have told that there. That was kind of stupid." But he'll still be like, it's that's just what you do. That was good.
Yeah, I think it's extremely good that you have like that group around you that's always like motivating you and everything. I think that's one
Yeah.
thing that everyone needs to have in life is you need to have those people behind you, even if it's like two people. Like as long as you have that core group that's there with you along the ride, it just makes everything so much more enjoyable. And it kind of almost, in my opinion, it kind of keeps you going a little bit more when you have people that are there and like they're able to tell you like, okay, this wasn't as good or this was really good. I think it's great to have that feedback rather than just getting feedback from like random people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've always told people, and a lot of people in that I know, well, I don't know how to say this. I know of people that like go around and someone like their friend will get off stage and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, that was amazing. You're the best." It's like, dude, you did terrible. Like, you need to stop being that nice to people. Like, my buddy Lenny, I do my podcast with. He'll tell me like, because he does stand up too. Like, I'll get off stage, he'll be like, "Dude, that fucking sucked," and I'm
Hmm.
like, "No, I know, I could tell." But then someone comes up to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you were so funny, great set." I'm like, that still means a lot. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it is nice to have that person in your ear that's like, "No, what? Like, you need to work on that."
Hmm.
If you keep telling people they're great at something, they'll never, truly be great at it because they just don't work at it.
Yeah, no, it's I totally agree with that. So I think the first place I saw you was TikTok. Have you been doing like posting clips and everything on TikTok for a while, or is that kind of something that's newer to you?
Yeah, I mean, I've posted on. I had an older TikTok. Something keeps happening, and I keep losing like all my information on passwords for like TikTok, Twitter, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, Probably from all the random porn sites I go to. But yeah, I've done TikTok. Like mostly posted clips. I'll have a part of like I'll post something random like I've been posting a lot of football dad with his drag queen son bits that I've been doing. And they'll like blow up, and then I'll post something for my stand up, and I'll get a few likes. I'm like, that's fine. And so I do lives a lot to try to like get more followers, kind of be more interactive. But yeah, I try to keep my TikTok and everything else like posting on there.
Hmm. Yeah, I know I mean, obviously we post all of our videos on YouTube, like the full length, but then we also
Yeah.
got into like all the TikTok and just posting Instagram reels, all the shorts on YouTube. So it's been fun. Do you like being on social media?
Honestly, if I didn't have to do it because of stand up, I would not be on social media. I hate it. I mean, I get it. Like, I enjoy posting things like my girlfriend and stuff like that. But for the most part, I hate it. I hate doom scrolling. I hate, like, I'll watch them. I can't say it because I'm kind of a hypocrite because I will sit on TikTok and just watch TikToks for a while. But if I didn't need to be on social media, I probably wouldn't be on any of it. Like, I deleted Snapchat like a while ago because I'm like, there's no need for this. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be on it or need to. So, no, I don't like social media.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Like, I mean, obviously I post a lot of our podcast stuff and like my baseball stuff, but like outside of that, it's just something that seems it's just something I don't like. Like I don't like having to do all of this on social media, but it's also something that's so popular now that everyone's using it, so you kind of have to post and do everything and put it out there in order to get that following, get all the viewers and everything. But I'm so with you with I hate social media so much.
Yeah, I think it's just giving a lot of dumb people like myself a voice. Like no one needs to hear what I have to say. I don't there no one needs to understand or hear what I have to say about politics or life or anything else because I am dumb. And there's about a billion more people like me that have a bigger following or bigger posts and it's like we're not like, this is not conducive to anything. So, yeah, I hate it, but
Yeah, no, it's
it's
just
one of those
something like
necessary evils.
100%. Yeah, it's just kind of necessary in the work that you do and I do, everything like that. So,
Yeah.
what did did you think when you were younger and everything that you were going to end up doing comedy, or is it just something that you were like somebody told you to do and you're like, okay, yeah, I'll think about it?
Um, I didn't. I don't mean I thought about it when I was young. I definitely liked like entertaining and being funny and making people laugh. I didn't really know you could at the time you could turn it into like making money off of it. Um, but I did have that people in my ear. Everyone's like, oh, you should definitely do this. Like, you got to get into like stand up. And then I finally like broke down and did it. Um, but yeah, I mean, when I was a young age, I think I wanted to be like a scientist and also a professional wrestler at one point. I kept changing things up, and then I was like, well, this is way more fun. So I'm gonna keep doing this.
Hmm. So you started pretty young, I would imagine. Yes.
Yeah, I think I was like 21. It wasn't like super young. Like some people start like 19 and like
Mhm.
16, 17, which is great. But yeah, I think it started around like 20.
So did you go to college or anything?
Yeah, I tried twice. I used to work at Verizon, and they were paying me to go to Strayer, and I went for like one class, and I was like, well, this sucks. And I
Hmm.
tried again to go to Southern New Hampshire or something, and again I went for one class, and I was like, this sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. So, should you go to college? Yes. Did I go to college? No.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm currently in college, and there are some doubts I have sometimes just because like I like doing this podcast stuff. So obviously, it'd be something I want to do in the future. But I mean, I started super late with posting all this. I think we just hit about it. We just started posting maybe like a year ago, or we're
Mm-hmm.
a couple months past a year. But obviously, like I was already in college. We kind of started doing it while I was at college, and there's always those days where I'm like, man, I hate work. I hate like doing all the homework,
Yeah.
the tests and everything. It was something I just wasn't very interested in high school, but here I
Yeah.
am after high school now. I'm doing it for 4 more extra years.
Yeah, that was my whole thing. Is like I don't want to keep going to school. Like school sucks.
Hmm.
But I mean, looking back now, it probably would have been a way better idea to go to school. Um, but it just wasn't something I grew up wanting to do. Like I hated being in school anyway because I suck at math. I suck at like a lot when it comes to school because I was trying to be the funny guy and not pay attention and just be stupid. So it's my own fault. But yeah, if I could go back, I probably would go to college just to kind of get a better idea, not only for like a job, but I think I would use it for like working on like promoting my podcast and doing other stuff for that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been, at least in my personal experience, it's been good because like I'm going to school so I can put it out to all the people that I'm in classes with, everything like that, teammates, everything like that. It's
Yeah.
been, I get a lot of support from my teammates. They watch it and everything. So I think that's the positive for me right now going to college. Obviously, I play college sports, so that's another
Mm-hmm.
big thing that decided it. So
Right.
yeah, I mean it's been a great experience. I'm glad I chose college, but there are those days when I'm like, man, like I really don't wanna be here and be in school. I'd
Yeah.
rather be working or doing something else with my time.
Yeah. I think my issue was too that I was so busy. Like, I wanted to do it at home because I was like, oh, no, this is a great idea. And it was really stupid. I should be in a class um, and listening to someone. I should not be trying to do it myself. So that was also my kind of issue.
So is there any like comedians that you kind of like looked up to and you're like, man, like I want to do what they are, or was it just purely off of everyone telling you should do it?
I embarrassingly growing up was really into like Jeff Dunham and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and which he's great, but like if you ask anybody now, they'll laugh in your face if you tell them that like that's what you grew up with. But yeah, I mean, I always enjoy like Big J Okerson. I enjoy obviously Shane Gillis, Dan Soder, Matt McCusker. I just liked like just seeing them kind of be like the main focus of everything. Like these were the guys that were like it's I don't know, it's just cool to me to be like people are coming to see me, I'm making them laugh and they're enjoying being here. Like so I always thought that was cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, I watched a ton of different people that do comedy, like Shane Gillis. He's probably on the top of my list. I think he's really funny. But
Yeah.
I did grow up like semi watching some clips of Jeff Dunham, and I think what he did was amazing too. But it does seem like he isn't as relevant nowadays for some reason, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean everyone kind of has their moment. Like Dane Cook was like he was huge. He was doing Vicious Circle when I was growing up, and that was big. And then like David Tell, um, but like Yeah, those were the guys. Now, I mean, David Tell obviously still selling out like comedy clubs. He's had a new special on Netflix, but like Dane Cook is, I mean, you might see him. I think now he's just like dating some 17-year-old, so that's probably people don't hear about him anymore.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. So outside
That's how
of
you know
like,
you made it.
yeah, I guess so, yeah. So outside of like all your comedy stuff and social media, what else do you like to do?
Um, as cheesy as it sounds, I like hanging out with my girlfriend. Um, we, I mean that I'll hang out with my sister, her husband, hang out with family. Like I like going to football games, watching football, going to a bar, just watching like dumb TV stuff like
Hmm.
that. Uh, I don't go to as many open mics now as I used to. I need to, just because I always have new material I need to work on. I have this bad habit of trying out new material on stage, which sometimes goes well. But other than that, I mean, I'm pretty boring. I know everybody has like they're like, oh, I like to go rock climbing or golfing, but like I suck at golf and I'm afraid of heights. So not much else I've going on. Once I
Yeah.
have more money and I'm more successful, I'll come back on and tell you all the cool things I like to do with my money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there with you with the heights thing. I hate heights, so I could never go rock climbing or anything of that nature. It's just being up there is just so just like really nerve-wracking for me.
Yeah, I just have like I just know I'd fall. Like I hate I mean heights are I'm fine with heights. Like I've went skydiving and stuff before, but something about like that's just too much of a white person activity to climb a rock. I can't do it.
What was it like skydiving?
Um it wasn't bad. Skydiving was fun because like so what sucks is just to climb up there because you're just sitting in a like a tiny plane with everybody and you're just like climbing and climbing, climbing, no matter how high you are. And then they're pretty much like, all right, we are going to get to the edge of the plane. Once we get to the edge of the plane, we are going to like you just fall and that's it. And I was very nervous because like I just obviously being nervous in general, but to fall out of a plane. But the crazy thing about it was once I actually like once we were sitting on the edge of the plane, my heart was racing. Once we dropped, everything just kind of like all the fear went away. I think that was just me accepting the fact that I was like, all right, I'm either gonna hit the ground and we're gonna have a great time and I'm gonna go like have some drinks, or I'm gonna die. And at that point, it's like there's nothing to worry about. So it was cool. Um, it was a cool thing. I don't know if I'd do it again. I feel like I've tested my luck enough, but it was kind of an exhilarating feeling to know that like being super scared of something and then it finally happens and you're like, oh, what am I afraid of? Like either it's gonna go well, it's gonna go bad.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that definitely takes a lot to actually get up in the plane, and I applaud you for doing that because I would never be able to do it. Even though, like you said, like once you jump, it's like all your fears kind of go away. I just don't think I could even get to the point of actually going up to that high and
Yeah.
doing it.
Well, the thing about it too is that once I got up there, knowing my sister, my friends, and everybody, that if I chickened out, I would never live that down. That's what sucks about being a comedian. Also, is all your friends are comedians, and all your friends make fun of you for stuff. So if you pussy out of anything, then you're screwed. So I was like,
Hmm.
I'd rather die than deal with this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, no, that's very true. There are some things that in like just like different things that I'll go do, and like my friends are around, so like I kind of have to do it. Especially now, like we're starting to get outside of the podcast, like we're doing pranks and stuff like that, and like just being around my friends, it's like okay, well I kind of have to go do it now because of the fact that I don't want to look like so scared around them. So it's just more about getting that done, and then after the fact of all of it, I feel so accomplished after doing it. So I think that's also a great thing to have.
Yeah, sometimes peer pressure is bad. It's not always about doing drugs, but it sometimes isn't so bad.
Hmm. So if you weren't a comedian, what do you think you would be doing?
Probably every single thing I'm doing now. Uh, just I'd probably be. I don't know. I probably would have gone to school to be honest with you, and so
Hmm.
I can't really give you an answer. I probably would have gone to school and taken better care of myself health wise, and I'd probably be in a lot better position than I am now. So, I was somewhat decent at sports growing up, but because of like high school not taking classes seriously and stuff, because I was like wanting to do what I wanted to do. Um, I never got like played through high school or anything. But so yeah, I think if I wasn't a comedian, my life would be a million times better. But I wouldn't probably be happy because I am very happy with where I'm at now with doing stand. Not even doing stand up, but like just the people in my life that I've gotten to know from doing stand up and the confidence I've had in life, like becoming a comedian that I might not have had growing up if I didn't have people would call like a defense mechanism of always trying to be funny and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it's great that you're like fulfilling your dream and everything instead of taking that traditional route of going to college and everything like that. I guess kind of getting back to that, like I would much so I guess the question I want to ask you is, would you
Yeah.
rather do a job that doesn't make you that much money but you're super happy doing it, or would you rather make more money and not like make that, or would you rather make more money and not be as happy?
Um, I mean, I don't know. That's a great question. I think I'd rather just be happy and just be able to pay my bills and do the things I want to do. Like I don't like I've said before with stand up, like I don't need to become like the Shane Gillis. I don't need to be like Bert Kreischer. I don't need to be these guys that are like selling out arenas. I just want to be able to do what like obviously enjoy doing and then be able to pay my bills and stuff afterwards and take care of the
Mm-hmm.
people in my life. Um, but I think yeah, I think I'd rather be happy with a small amount of money than depressed with billions of dollars. But
Yeah.
it's also easier said than done because if I had the money and was sad, I wouldn't probably be sad. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm kind of on the opposite side of you where I'd much, for me at least personally, I would much rather have like that bigger paycheck and everything rather
yeah,
than enjoying my job, just because like I feel like money is like the number one thing everyone pretty much chases, I would imagine, just because like you can do
yeah,
so much with money and like all the experiences, like you have almost unlimited of what you can do if you have a lot of money. Like you can go do pretty much whatever you want throughout the day. So I feel like that's
yeah.
kind of where I stand on that type of thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's just I've always been like, especially the last couple of years, like I'm like, okay, well, college you make more money, therefore I kind of picked that. But it's just overall like as I've been growing up, I've been more about just rather making more money than enjoying my job necessarily. Because I can go do a job that pays like $100 an hour and totally hate it, but I feel like
Yeah,
the money part is what's gonna keep me going more.
yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, if I was digging ditches, but I'm making $500 an hour, then I'm gonna keep digging those ditches.
Hmm.
But if I'm, making $30 an hour, doing something I enjoy being around and want to wake up to work and do, then that's what I want to do. It's crazy. I went to an interview a while ago, and the guy, and he was like, "What's like your, what are your main purposes for a job or whatever?" And I was like, "Pay." I was like, "That's it." He's like, "Really?" Because most people, their pay is number 6 on the list. I'm like, "No, that's dumb." Everyone says work environment. Everyone says, but it is one of those like pay is one of those things where you're like, no, I need to know that I'm making money. But yeah, also like I want to be happy making the money. Like I
Hmm.
wouldn't want to be a coroner or whatever, making tons of money and dealing with dead bodies all the time.
Yeah, no, that would be a bad career, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I mean, I feel like it would be something I couldn't do, but if the paycheck's right, I feel like it's something I would 100%, I guess, just
I
dive
probably do it
into.
for a while.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think you have to like disassociate and like I mean, I've done like fun jobs where I literally sat at a computer all day, like sold websites, and I was making like $2,000 a week or something crazy like
Hmm.
that. It was awesome. But then it just gets to that point where you're like, this is it. There's no growth for me. There's no in game. It's just this over and over and over again. But then I've also done like super hard jobs that didn't pay as much, and I was just because of the people I was around, I was like, I could do this for a little while
Hmm.
longer.
So
So yeah, it's weird.
what's kind of your goals for the rest of like your life? Like whether it's continuing with like comedy or like is there anything you want to expand into?
Um, yeah, I mean, I want to continue doing stand up. Obviously, I want to get my podcast like going really well. I was at one point supposed to be in a pilot for a TV show that was being pitched to a bunch of different stations and stuff, but I didn't really go through with it. Only because I was like, I don't know about acting. I really want to just kind of do stand up and stuff like that. I mean, if you're talking career wise, then yeah, I just want to continue doing stand up. At some point, getting to acting, I guess, for like movies and things like that, just because I think it'd be fun.
Hmm.
Have some specials, have some more tours, going tours. But like life wise, just goals in life: take care of my family, take care of, marry my girlfriend, have a family, all that fun stuff.
Hmm. So with in your comedian career, like is there one person that you would love to have either like you're opening up for them or you kind of just do like a stand-up skit together? Is there like one or even like a top 3 people that you would love to do something with?
I mean, the answer now, I mean, obviously, if he was still alive, Norm Macdonald would be great. Um, Honestly, just having a conversation with him, I'd be happy. Uh, Everyone says Shane Gillis, probably Shane Gillis. I did, however, I opened for if you ever seen the show Tires, I opened for Chris O'Connor and Tommy Pope, who they're both on that show. They do Stuff Island. They were really cool. I've opened for Sam J. I've opened for Dave Attell, Nate Marshall, like a bunch of other comics. But I mean, yeah, Mark Norman. I love to do anything with Big J Okerson. I think he'd be really fun to hang out with. So probably those guys.
Yeah, no, I mean that sounds like a pretty solid list.
Hmm.
Has there been like one person that's kind of influenced you and like helped you grow and grow every day in your career?
You mean like comedian or like?
Anyone, like, because I know when we ask this question, like it's a lot of people are saying like their family kind of helped push them everything, but I mean if it's family, comedian, anyone.
Yeah, I mean my family's very supportive. My sister is very very supportive of it, so that definitely helps me out, and so is my girlfriend. So that makes me kind of be like when I do have the like shitty shows or venues or like whatever, and I'm like that sucked. They're like, no, it was great. Like da da da. Like we're gonna come to your next show. I'm like, all right, well I guess I'm gonna keep going. So I would say them.
Hmm. Your podcast is more like you do skits in it as well, correct?
No, I would. I mean, I guess technically, but it's a lot of just me and my buddy. His name's Linear Bean. He's a comedian. Check him out. Having other local comics on or other people, and just kind of like we'll just talk about stuff, but we'll go off on a lot of tangents.
Hmm.
So people always, whenever I have people on, they're like, "What are we going to talk about? Like, what, should I bring any notes?" I'm like, "No, we're going to ask you some questions, and then from then on, it's going to be, yeah, we might be doing like little bits and stuff, like Lenny and I changing our voice, or like doing something stupid, or joking about something we probably shouldn't be joking about."
Hmm.
But there's no like rhyme or reason. There's no like, we're not going to be like, all right, and now is the part of the show where we do this. It's just going to, like, it's literally started with Christmas stuff and ended with like a joke about how Aaron Rodgers has killed more bears than AIDS. And so it's like, it's all over the place.
No, I think it's great that you're able to just kind of do some of that stuff and just put it out there because I know I watched one of your TikToks. It was the one where it was something that to do with a bee. I think you were like you were performing like something about you're in a conversation and there's like a bee coming close to you or something. And I showed that to a couple of my
Oh,
teammates and
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
I thought that was so funny.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That was like something I just did. It's kind of, it's funny, but it's kind of stupid. I was just, a lot of like the dumb TikTok stuff I'll think of, I'll go on like a couple days like of just like pushing out content and stuff. And then it'll be weeks again before I do anything just because I'm thinking about other million different things. I try to, once I think about something, write it down and think it'd be funny. Or like my girlfriend and I got really uh drunk one night, stoned, and we thought it'd be funny to remake the movie Robin Hood, but instead of him being like a fox or like a guy that steals from the rich and gives to the poor, he steals from the rich because he is a hooker, and they when they finger his butt, he would take their rings off with his butt and then it's really dumb when you're not, when you're sober thinking about it, but it was really funny at the time. And I wrote it down so I thought it'd be funny.
Wow, that it just
So,
I feel like it's got to take a lot to be able to come up with those different ideas. Like,
it people always some people will be, oh, like there is like a process I go through, or there's like this I go through. And honestly, it's mostly just me saying something stupid, and if someone I'm next to laughs, I'm like, well, that's a bit. Like I have a joke about how white people are ruining hot sauces with the names of them. Like they're getting more violent. It used to be like slap your mama, kick your daddy in his dick. Now it's stuff like push your grandma down the stairs. Like I had a hot sauce one time that just said say the N word. And like that just came from, I was having dinner with my brother and Lenny, and we were talking about hot sauces, and I was like, "That's hot sauce is so hot, it makes me want," like, told me to say the N word, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of funny, like, because hot sauces have these crazy fucking names. Of course, someone would probably name it that because it's so stupid."
mhm. No, it's
Mm.
crazy. It's crazy that in just like your everyday life, you're able to kind of just come up with these ideas on the fly. Like I mean, it's something I couldn't necessarily do, but it just seems like it's working for you really good right now. And like just watching over some of your TikToks, like it's those ideas, like, yeah, at first they probably don't seem the best, but they come out hilarious, especially that B one. Like at first I was like watching it, and I was laughing, and it's just so funny. And it's just like I don't even understand how you would come up with that, but I mean, obviously just from sitting here and talking to you is just kind of something that naturally comes to you, which is a great thing to have.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean it is, but it also gets very annoying to other people, and I'm sure it does because there are times where like it sucks is like something serious will happen, and then my first thought is to like, okay, how can I make this funny? Which might be like a form of autism. I don't know, but it is nice. It is fun. But yeah, I appreciate you checking those out. Thanks.
Yeah, no, I mean, you run a great TikTok, and I find them the majority of stuff
Hey,
hilarious. Is there
the
something
majority of
that,
stuff.
huh?
No, I was just laughing at you said the majority of stuff, so it made me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten to like check out every
No, I
single
know.
video,
I was
but
just
from what
yeah.
I've
You're like
seen,
no,
it's all.
some of the stuff is okay. I saw one video and that was it. Everything else sucks. I'm like that's fine.
No, I mean, for the majority, like from actually, I could say everything I've seen so far has been really funny, and I will. Especially before this, I was showing a couple of my teammates when we were eating. I was showing them the video, and they thought it was funny too. So it's you're doing a great job, and I mean, obviously, we
Oh,
all.
thanks, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's something great that you're able to do. It's something you grew up making jokes and everything, and now you're able to make it a career. So it's very inspiring that you're able to just take something so simple as making jokes and actually make money off of it, make a whole career out of it. So it's great.
Yeah, my targeted audience is guys in college that play sports, so that's perfect. I'm glad that I'm hitting that audience.
Yeah, no, it's great. Is there been something like while you're performing or just like over the years that you've learned about yourself through doing all of your comedy?
I don't know if I've learned anything about myself. I don't know if I've learned anything at all, and that's probably the problem. I need to do a better job of trying to learn things, but um, I guess I have more confidence than I thought I did, which is weird because, like, I mean, I always had like some sort of confidence, but people always tell me they're like, "Oh my god!" Like, I used to have a joke about how that like serving in the military is exact same as doing stand up because people come up to you and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I could never do that. You're so brave." Or, like, what do your parents think? Or how many people have you killed? And so I think I just have like that. I really have more confidence in myself than I thought I did, which is cool. Um, other than that, I don't know. I don't think I've learned anything. Sorry, it's not a good answer,
No,
but
that's good. I mean, that's perfect. Confidence part's perfect, and I think we had mentioned that earlier. That's really key. That's like one of the big keys to your life. If you have more confidence, you're able to do a lot more things with your life. I know. I mean, I growing up, I didn't have as much confidence. Now, like my confidence is through the roof. So I've been able to kind of try new experiences and everything like that. But I know from when I didn't have as much confidence, like I didn't really want to go out and do all these different things with like my friends. Like I kind of just want to stay to myself. So it's definitely, I think confidence has definitely played a huge part in my success so far in my life. But yeah, no, that was a great answer.
oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess I've also learned like I never thought I had some like growing up. Like I played music, I've like done like school plays, I've like played sports, like all this other stuff, like different. I've like a million different jobs. I never felt like I had like a thing that was like me. No one's like Hunter's doing this or Hunter's gonna do that, and so it's I guess that kind of cool, like knowing like this is my thing now. So what I want to do with the rest of my life. This is what people kind of look at me and they go, "Oh, Hunter's a comedian," or "Hunter like does stand up. Hunter does this." So that's kind of cool.
So you mentioned you played sports. What sports did you play?
So growing up, I played football, soccer, baseball, and basketball. I made varsity basketball in high school and baseball in high school, but I never played because my grades were so bad.
Do you watch sports or anything now, or is it just kind of something in your past?
I watch sports. What's crazy is I watch sports a lot more now than I did when I was younger. Everyone I was like watch sports growing up because that was like growing up. You know, we had Dwayne Wade. You know, Kobe was still playing. LeBron, like everybody, so everybody that I grew up with, kids were like watching sports, and I was like, I don't want to watch this. Like, I want to watch like cartoons. I want to watch something funny. But now I still watch cartoons. I still watch stuff that's funny. But like, I watch sports more now. I'm more into football now than I am probably anything else. Like professional football. I do like college football. I also bet a lot on sports, so I'm way more into it now, which is great until you lose a bunch of money. But I think I'm definitely more into sports now than I have been like in past years.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up kind of around sports and watching them. But for me, I will say football is by far the best sport to watch, especially the NFL. Like obviously there's
Yeah.
arguments that like college football is good, but I just personally don't like college football as much as the NFL. I think it's more interesting in the NFL just because I know who's on the team and everything. Whereas college, like there's guys graduating every year, so it's like you can't really follow them unless they make
Yeah,
it to
it's
the
harder to
NFL.
stay on top.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but it's just overall it just seems like obviously it's a hard sport to play, but it's just for me it's more interesting to watch NFL games than it is to watch any college or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So that's all the questions I had for you. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, right. I'm supposed to do questions too. Yeah, let me think of some sick guy questions to ask you for sports. So this is the Out of the Park podcast, but you think it's football. You play baseball or you play football?
I play baseball. I never played
Play
football. I could
baseball.
never do that. Yeah.
I used to enjoy it. I hated baseball growing up because my younger brother played travel baseball and he was the family favorite at the time. So I was just around it every single weekend, and I was like, this sport is stupid. No offense, but it's better now. Like I said, with betting on it and stuff like that. All right, let me think of some good questions to ask you. I never do interviews on my podcast. I'll start with like, what got you into stand up, and then from then on, they'll say something about like their mom. Like, yeah, what about your mom? It doesn't matter. All right, cool. All right, what would be if you had a superpower? What would it be?
Wow. Uh, I guess I would probably want to fly. Like just being able to fly, I feel like it'd make my life so much easier. That way I don't have to sit in traffic, everything like that. So I think flying would probably be mine.
Mm, that's a good one. I always said my favorite power to have would be to say someone's kink out loud and then immediately make them come, because I think that would help fight crime for pedophiles. So I could walk into a room and scream kids, and the next one that busts, we could immediately arrest them. All right, next question. Do you plan on taking steroids ever?
No, that's definitely not something I would ever do.
That's a good answer into a recorded microphone. That's a great answer. If it was legal, would you take steroids for baseball?
I don't I don't think so just because I don't like the whole I feel like you're taking the easy route out of it. I'd rather put in like more work to get stronger and not get stronger at all. So like I feel like people that do take it, I'm not bashing on them or anything, but I just think for me, it's just not something that I would want to do, just because I like putting in that work in the weight room, everything like that. But I feel like if you take steroids, it's almost taking the easy way out. Like you're still doing a lot of work, but I feel like it's not all natural, so you don't feel as good at the end of the day.
Mm. I mean, you said like swing the ball, swing the bat. That's how much I know about sports. I swing a ball. I mean, you said to swing the bat, like hit the ball. I mean, I get that. I would take steroids 100% because I think it would be hilarious to be on stage and just be jacked and sweaty and bald and covered in acne. But you had a great head of hair, so you wouldn't want to do steroids anyway. So I get that
Yeah, no,
for sure.
it's just something that I could never do.
No, I mean, I get it. It's fine. What about other drugs? Would you do any other drugs if they were legal?
No, I wouldn't. I don't even think there's one that I've thought about trying. I just kind of stay away from that type of stuff. I don't think it's something I could ever do.
This is great. You're doing really well for a guy into a microphone saying all of these things. This is perfect. I can already tell you the tweet I tweeted in 2012. That's probably gonna get me canceled when I was like 15. So it's good that you know when your career's still going. All right, you haven't done drugs. You wouldn't do drugs. What can I ask you that you would agree to? You play baseball at college?
Yeah,
Nice, nice. You guys have any scandals going on at your college, like lacrosse teams or coaches or anything like that?
not that I can think of. No, we're kind of a smaller college, so we don't really get that much excitement or anything like that.
Or you don't get that many eyes on you, so someone could be doing something bad and no one would know.
That is very true.
Interesting. So that's what people don't think about. See, but if it had to be a scandal at your college, what would you want it to be?
Wow, I've never even thought about that question, but that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna happen. There's always gonna be a scandal at someone's college. It's like, what would you rather your scandal be? Like a 13 reasons some girl just offs herself because she's sad, or like, what do you want?
are you saying for like me or just like that happens at my college?
Just happens at your college. Like, what would you want to happen at your school that you guys in the news for? Like, teacher sleeping with a student. That's probably the most minor thing you could do at a college because you guys are in college, so I guess it's okay.
I guess
Not
yeah,
really.
that would probably be mine just because it's not as like bad. Like I'm kind of blanking at different scandals that could possibly happen here, but I think that would probably have to be my pick just because I don't think
Yeah.
it's so this might come out wrong, but I don't think it's necessarily that bad because as long as you're within the ages of everything, like you're legal, everything
Yeah.
like that, I don't think it's a terrible thing that happened. Obviously, it does come with effects and everything, but I don't. As long as it's like consensual and everything, I feel like it
Yeah.
shouldn't be as bad as everyone makes it out to be.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in college, yeah, but
Yeah,
that's fine. That's what I was asking. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, okay, your scandal is a teacher slept with a student. Which teacher are you sleeping with?
uh, I guess the most attractive a teacher. I feel like you kind of have to have the
That's a good
looks in there
answer.
for it to be good.
Yeah, you don't want to be the one because I think if you sleep with an ugly teacher, I think you get arrested too. I think that's part of it. Um, that would make the most sense. All right, cool. So we're gonna assume it's your. Let's see, what classes are you taking right now? We're gonna make
Count.
an assumption.
I'm an accounting major, so the majority of my classes are accounting.
Oh God. Okay, I gotta think of a hot accounting teacher. That's gonna be tough. I was thinking, hoping for more like Shakespearean English teacher, but that's fine. All right, that's all my questions I have. I think we got enough. You didn't admit to anything, so I got nothing.
I will say I really enjoyed that because that it's something I've never been a part of, but that was extremely funny. So I guess I will definitely consider you one of the funniest people I've ever talked to. Like
Oh,
that was a
thanks,
good
man.
one. Because I mean we do get guests that they don't in the moment they don't really have questions, but for you to be able to kind of think of some and especially some very interesting questions. Now that was great.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. When I listen to the podcast and all that's cut out, I'll be like, yeah, at least you said it was funny.
All right. Well, if you don't have any more questions, we can kind of wrap it up here. This was out of the park.
Cool.
I just want to thank Hunter for coming on. Had a great time. Obviously, the ending skit was really funny. It's something unique and it showcases your talents and everything. And I just want to thank you for coming on and everything like that. His socials will be somewhere on the screen. So go check him out. He's really funny. Hopefully, when you make it big and you're selling out all these crowds, you'll remember, hey, you were on this podcast, and that would be great to have you back on at some point.
I will. I'll come up with more damning questions next time I come on too, like really hard hitting, trivial stuff that'll really make you think about dropping out.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for that. But yeah, I just want to say thank you. I will let you know when all of this drops and everything. But it was great. I had a great time getting to know you and just obviously seeing towards the end what you kind of do.
Hi, man. Thanks. I appreciate you having me on. This is my first sports podcast I've done, so I'm glad we could really get into the nitty gritty of what it's like to be a man.